Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm here with another board game review, and today I'll be telling you that why you should play Merchant's Cove. Merchant's Cove is a mix of mini games where each player is going to be doing their own small mini game to produce different kind of goods of different colors, of different sizes, and those goods need to be sold in the market on a main board based on, and their cost of those items is going to vary based on how many customers are going to appear. So it's a simple game, but based on all the mechanisms and every player being unique, it does contain a long teach, because even though the actions are simple, but it does have interlinked mechanisms, which does make this game a table hog as well as a very involved game with few issues as well. So before I go and show you the individual player boards and how the mini games are going to work, do remember that I'm not going to show you each and everything, because otherwise this will become a very long review. So this is not meant to be a tutorial, but I will be explaining at least that much, that how the game plays for each player, so that you have a sense of things, that how the game is going to be played. But before moving on to the individual boards, one thing that you have to look, this is going to be the main board, which I'm going to remove to show you the player boards. The only thing that you have to understand is that there are different kind of merchants that are coming through these boats to the island, and when these boats come, there are going to be different colored meeples that are going to become, these are the different customers, and that's why you are producing these different goods, and these are going to be in the colors of red, green, blue and yellow. So there are four colors, but there are two sizes. There are either big goods which cost more and sell for more, and then there are going to be goods which are cheaper, which are small goods. So you have to see which kind of customers are coming in, either they are looking for what color and what size, and accordingly you prepare for them that okay, these are the kind sizes of goods that I should prepare before the boats appear, because once the boats will appear, then you will be starting a market phase in which you will be selling those goods. Each player is going to be taking a different amount of turns, which is going to be tracked on a timer on this board, on this clock. So the only unit that you will see on player boards is going to be that for performing any action, you use time, which is going to be tracked on the main board. It's not tracked on the player boards itself, so that's why you will not see that on the player boards itself. So with that at least just out of the way, let's now go on to the player board, so that at least first let you understand how each player produces those goods. Then I will come back to this board and tell you, once those goods are prepared, how do you actually sell them, how do you prepare, anticipate the market, and then see that how they are going to sell at different kind of rates. One of the merchant is the chronomancer, and how the chronomancer is going to work is that every circle space is going to represent a worker spot where you can send your worker. So you have two characters, one is the assistant and one is the main master, and wherever you're, and they can never cross each other, so wherever you want to take, you can go as far as this space is concerned, because there are two time machines on the side, so both the characters need to be in their time machines to travel to the next time zone. Wherever you place them, that's the kind of item that you are going to get, and that's the kind of time that they are going to use. Each character is going to use some time units to perform those actions. So the chronomancer is kind of simple, that you just go in time and steal stuff. So for example, if I went to this place, it's going to tell me that I'm going to get one corruption card, and we'll come to those corruption cards later when we are discussing the main board game, but I'm going to get one corruption. I will use one time to get one of the big yellow goods. Each character is also going to get a handful of their different goods type. So I'll be getting one big yellow good, and that I'll be placing on my shelf, that I have obtained one of the big yellow goods, but it used one of my time. In a future round, I might be going up to here, so which is the maximum space that I can go until the master also comes on the time machine as well. So let's say, but that might happen in a future turn. When I go here, it takes two of my time units, and we'll be tracking time, because each player will be taking turns. Time is essentially how much turns you are going to get before other player takes their turn. and that's also tracked on the main board. But anyway, I'll be taking 2 time, and I can take 2 of these time tokens. These are time tokens up here. So by using these time tokens, a chronomancer has a special ability that he can reverse time as well and take additional turns if he wants. So instead of taking them, that's the resource he's getting, but he can spend it back to take additional turns. So for example, if I sent them back, I can take 2 turns, which might be, well, going here, which is going to spend 1 time. So I had, for example, 2 additional time. I spent 1 time to go here, which is going to consume 1 time and give me one of the small blue goods. So I'll be taking from the goods basket one of the small blue goods, putting it on my shelf. I'll keep it flat so that you can see easily. So I'll be taking one of the small blue goods, and then for spending my second time, additional time, without wasting any, so these are additional turns that I'm going to get. I'm going to go here, which requires 1 time as well. So that's what I'm going to do. But whenever you travel in time, just like the theme of time travel, some changes in reality are going to happen, some time changes. So next time if you go to the same kind of place, some things have changed, butterfly effect kind of has happened. What's this going to represent is that something in row number 2 or column number 2 to be exact has changed. And how the mechanism work is, this is column number 2 and this is column number 1. So this is going to slide down, and this unit has changed, and instead you will be having these tiles in front of you, and from these tiles you will be placing one of them on a white line side. There are 2 sides of these slides. So if you are removing a blue side, then you will be getting one of the white sides, and you will be placing that item in the newly created space. And now this action has actually become more powerful, because previously the cost was higher for doing these actions, but now the cost will become lower and you will be getting more goods. That's the kind of effect the white machinery has as compared to blue time zones. But if you move too much through time, then the white zones are going to flip back. Whenever you take out any tile, it flips as well. So this is going to convert into white, but when a white tile is going to go out, it's going to flip to the blue side. So next time when it moves, it can gain these kind of goodies, and next time you'll be getting some better items through the white tiles. Slowly these tiles, when you come on these spaces, then similarly the one column is going to move, and you will be getting something better over here by your choice. You can fix what kind of items do you need to collect, and in this way the chronomancer works, that he's manipulating time, that what items do he want to get in the future by changing this at what cost. That's essentially how it works. One other mechanism which is going to be common for everyone is going to be obtaining the additional workers, and that's what these boards are going to be for. So when you get additional workers, there are these kind of additional workers are going to be available on the main board, and you can buy any of them for if for that turn by paying that much time. But if you take any of them, you are going to get some immediate bonus, which is mentioned at the bottom, and you can find different description in the rule book. Some are going to give you immediate goods of any type, and some of them are going to let you move some of the customers here and there, which we have not seen. We will see them later. But once you essentially get them, other than the one-time bonus, what also you're going to get is place them underneath some of your locations, and the more you get, the better. So for example, maybe I have enabled these 2 locations. So next time if I want to activate any of them, they all activate at the same time. So for example, it is going to show me that I have placed this. It will convert one of my small goods, which is a less costly good, into a bigger good of the same type. And this action is going to remove one of my curses action or corruption cards, sorry, not curses, corruption cards from my deck. So which is also going to be good, because corruption card is nothing but negative points in the end of the game. So it lets me remove corruption in this way. So you can make these actions more and more powerful, and it will help you make the game easy, but you have to spend time in hiring recruits, hiring workers to run your machinery along with you. So that's the journal chronomancer. Now let's move to the pirate. How the pirate mechanism is going to work is, again, all of these mechanisms are going to be based on worker placement as well. You are going to have some kind of pirate figure, and you will be placing them on any of these spots in the top to indicate that what action are you going to do. The actions are going to be, for example, you want to move these 4 ships somewhere. So for example, if you go here, you can move a ship 1 space. If your ships are in a space, then you can go for fishing. Wherever a space has a fish hook symbol, it will let you fish that type of good. So ideally, you want your ships separated in different locations before you do a fishing action, and then you will be able to, each of your ships is going to fish. Let me place them flat so that you can see them easily, so that you can get all these goods. Again, just like every other character, you are going to come, they are going to come with your own unique, and whichever goods you are going to get, you are going to place on your display card that you have obtained those goods. That's one of the actions. How do you obtain? But these are small goods. How do you obtain big goods is going to be, if your ship has reached up to these points, the edges, then you can perform a treasure chest hunting action. When you perform a treasure chest hunting action, then it is going to pick up, these treasure chests are going to be revealed when your ship goes there, and then you can pick these treasure chests up. So if you pick these up right now, for example, I know these are all red, I'll be getting a lot of red goods. Maybe that's what I want. If I don't want red goods, maybe I will not pick them up. But you might want to pick them up, and if you do this action for 2 times, then I'm going to get these goods. What other things are going to happen? There are sometimes the movement is going to be slow. So sometimes there are shortcuts available as well. So for example, if my ships were here, it takes 1 movement to go here and then another movement to go here. So it took 2 movement to reach this, for example, yellow treasure space. But if I wanted to go from here to here through a current space, there is going to be a cursed coin which I will need to take. These cursed coins go on this island, the pirate island, and you can keep getting these cursed coins. But the problem is going to be that if at any time you are unable, there are only 7 coins in this one. If you are at any time unable to actually place any more coins in this one, you're going to get an corruption card. So you want to reduce the corruption, or essentially remove these cursed coins as well. Where you can remove is by going here, by throwing away the cursed coins, you get 4 points. By going here, you remove cursed coins by doing a treasure hunt action, and it will remove 7 of the coins, converting into 7 points directly. But of course, you are leaving a bigger prize by hunting over here. You are not hunting for a treasure chest elsewhere. Another thing you can do, just like every other character, is going to be, you can hire crew for your special actions, and then once you have them, you can activate all of them, and all their abilities are going to activate as well, which is going to either let you move, get a curse coin, do fishing at least in 1 location, get return one of the curse coins, or reduce corruption. These kind of abilities are here. But in addition, pirate action also comes with this compass. So if you are relying on winds, otherwise the movement through the oars is slow, but if you are relying on the wind, then you can use this compass and spin the spinner for 2 actions, and whatever comes, that's going to be your fate. So for example, in this case, I can move 3 spaces, but I will be taking 2 points. You can split them up in your ships as you like. So essentially, you are moving, picking up these items. As soon as you pick up these items, all the ships return to your main zone. Whichever items did you pick up, they will go here, and they will be replaced by new treasure chest without looking, so that you will be shuffling them and placing randomly some new treasure chest. and that's how the pirate works. The next character which we are going to see is the alchemist. So she is going to make different kind of potions by using these marbles. More marbles come in this bag. Essentially what you are trying to do is you will go on one of these three spots to pick up, you will declare a color that from that row what color are you going to pick. So for example, if I go to the middle row and I declare I'm going to pick up a yellow color, then I will pick up a yellow, and if by doing this, because this is on a gravity slope, if any other yellow comes in that row, I'm going to pick that one as well. But also note that what's going to also happen is that if there is any black in that row, then black is considered as a wild, then that will get picked up as well. And that's how the alchemist is going to forge for resources. Now once I have these are my cauldrons, and I'm going to actually place them. I use 2 time to pick up these and then place them in the cauldron. I can put them in any cauldron in any configuration that I like, or I can put them all in one cauldron as well. That for example, I want to do this. In any future turn, once this has more spaces, I will be randomly drawing new marbles and then putting them here as well. I can then in any future turn also go again and maybe go here. This is going to consume 1 time but also give me 1 corruption. What that is going to do is that I'm going to declare again a yellow. In this way I can fill maybe something like this as well. Now black, remember, acts as a wild. One other type of action that I can do is I can go here, and this is going to let me brew potions. So whatever cauldrons I have prepared, those potions are going to be brewed. Right now I have 2 cauldrons. This cauldron only has 1 marble. The recipes are given at the bottom, so this cauldron isn't going to do anything yet. But this cauldron has 2 of any 2 of matching color and 1 big one, which is going to generate a yellow good of same color, a big resource of same color. So that means I'll be generating 1 potion which is big for that of that color. Now these will be removed, but the black one are going to go to this waste one. So even though they act as helpful wilds, but any that you use are going to go to your wilds, and the remaining will go back to the bag. Here I have 2. So if I have any two matching colors and black, I can declare as a yellow. If I have 2 matching ones, then I will be making a small portion of that color. So all you are generating is different items of different colors which are either small or large. So these will be going away, but of course I used one of the black ones, and that's going to go here. Now what essentially is going to happen is slowly this cauldron which is here is going to fill up, and as soon as there are enough marble which is touching one of these corruption symbols, then I will have to take a corruption card. One of the actions I can do is go here, waste 1 of the times and remove one of these wild marbles and return it to the bag, so that the corruption, I don't have to take corruption, but I will have to waste time for it. Of course, like every other merchant, I can go here and activate any of the workers that I hire, and they will let me grant again different kind of abilities to brew potion. Multiple actions I can do at the same time. So that's how the alchemists work. The last character that comes in the base game is going to be the blacksmith. Blacksmith essentially works as a dice game. You're going to get some dice will be fixed, 1 2 3 4. The black dice will be fixed, these are your alloys, and then you're going to roll these dice, and these are going to form your pool, based on which you're going to manufacture different goods of different these 4 colors. And what you're going to do is essentially try to go here. Again, just like a worker placement spot, if you want to generate big goods, you can go to these big furnaces, and if you want to generate small goods, you can go to these 2 small furnaces. Whichever good is in the top slot, whichever dice is in the top slot, that's the color of the good that's going to be generated. So for example, if I wanted to generate a green good right now, I'll go here and then place a green on the top. This is going to 6 plus 1 7, but 7 is not going to be enough to generate a green good, and that ratio is given on the top, that to generate a green good the minimum I need is an 8, but that good is not going to be a perfect metal good. So I'm going to get corruption, that I'm selling corrupted items in the market. But if my item grade is 10 plus, then people are going to be happy with me. So how do I do that is I'm going to mix this alloy with it. It's get wasted by doing this, but at least now I have 6 plus 3 9 plus 1 10. So I have 10 in this cauldron, in this furnace, sorry, by using one time. So that's one of the things that I did. Maybe in the future I also can go here and place a 1 here for producing a yellow good. For small goods, you want to be lower than the given number. So for yellow good, I just need less than 6 to generate a yellow good. So right now this is generating 4, and even I can go here, and if I keep this here, so it will still be 5, which is less than 6. So I will be making a perfect product. But to generate a blue good, if I go here, 6 plus 3 is 9. So 9, if the blue good was going to be generated, that good cannot be generated because for generating a blue good, it's 8 and 7. So it's too high. So maybe an ideal thing would have been that in my previous turn, I wasted my blue here and then slotted my red here instead. So 3 plus 3 is 6, and to generate a red good, I just need anything less than 8. And that's how you will be thinking what goods you can manufacture maximum before you go to forging action. Also, you'll be looking at what kind of customers you're getting. So if I was getting blue customers more rather than green, so maybe in this furnace I would be putting blue on the top rather than green on the top, and I'll be then generating the blue good. Once your furnaces are ready, you can go to the forging action, which takes 2 time, and then all these goods are going to be forged. Just like every other character, you're going to have your own custom goods. So I'll be generating, for example, a blue good, which is a staff. Blue represents magical items. Then I'm going to generate for the fighter a helmet, and for the yellow I'm going to generate for a nobleman a noble sword. I'm going to generate small item. So small item will be armor shirt. So these are the goods that I'm going to generate. One large blue and 2 small items. These are going to go in my shelf, and I'm keeping them flat so that it's easy for you to see. This is the main board. Even though each player will be playing on their small board, but this is where the main game is going to be tracking majority of the things. So for example, all the customers, all the goods that you were preparing, the customers are actually coming in these boards, and the color of the meeples here in these boards are going to represent what kind of goods are they looking for. So for example, a blue meeple represents, he's going to be looking represents a magician, and he's going to be looking for blue magical items. A green represents a bard, and he's looking for green items, which are instruments. The yellow represents the nobles, the red represents the fighters, and there are some gray tokens as well, which represents the rogues, which are the negative points, and they are going to steal things. Each game is going to have some random variety. The base game comes with 3 of these cards, which represents what the rogues are going to do whenever you pull out a rogue from the meeple bag. But when the players are taking their turns, you remember that actually it's going to cost them time, because you have limited time in which you want to prepare the goods before the boats are going to arrive. So that's going to be tracked on this clock. So whenever someone, let's say the purple player was going to take turn, because whoever token is on the top is going to take the first turn or furthest back, then if they spend 2 time, then their token will be placed here. Now we will see in the next time whose token is in the back, and that player is eligible for the next turn. If this player took just 1 time turn, it's a less time consuming turn, then still the orange is going to take their turn. Let's say they took a turn which is going to consume 2 time, then still blue player is in the back. So you don't go in the turn order, but you go in turns based on how much time you have consumed. So the blue player is going to take another turn right now, and if he took another turn which was just consuming 1 time, then he's still the player on the top, so he is going to take another turn as well, which is one of the bad things which I think is with the game, that even though there is time and I understand the concept of it, but it might be 4, 5, 6 turns before the purple player who took the first turn is going to take a turn again, because next time the blue is going to take whatever turn, then still orange is going to take turn before purple gets another turn again. Now, one more thing, as soon as blue or orange crosses one of these symbols which represents a meeple, and that symbol is available at different locations across the board, whenever that happens, then from the bag a meeple is going to be pulled out, and the player who passed that position is going to decide that this meeple is going to go in which boat. Now, let's say they decided it's going to go in this boat. Why is that important? Because that's going to decide what customers are going to come. So you will always start with 2 meeples in the boat. That gives you a market anticipation that what are the kind of customers that are expected to come. So you start preparing for goods of that type. But the market is going to change as well based on how the players are playing the game. So they get to decide in which boat the character is going to go, because on each side of the pair there are 2 boats, there are 3 pairs, and each there are only 4 spaces for the boats to land, but there are 6 boats in total, which means that 3 out of these 3 boats, only 2 boats are going to ever land on the space over here. So let's say this boat and this boat might come, and this boat will be left out, or whichever boat will get filled first is going to reach here. Similarly, on this side, whichever boat gets filled is going to come first. So players have some control over what kind of shoppers, what kind of market is going to be ripe. Now, let's assume once these pairs are going to be important as well. Let's say this boat was filled up. Let's put one more meeple in it. Once the orange player crosses and he puts a blue meeple in it. So if this player put the final meeple, then he gets to decide whether the boat will land here or here. So if he decides it lands here, then this pair is for selling the big goods. So that means he's intending that this player is intending that I want to sell more big goods because that's what I'm producing. If a boat lands here, then these spaces, these 2 spaces are for selling the small goods, whereas this space can sell both a large good but as well as small good, but you are going to have corruption. That's like a black market pair where you can sell any kind of good but with corruption. Now the problem that's going to be there is that what else is going to drive the market is that how much customers of a type are going to be there. So in this case, on this pair, let's say there were 2 yellow and you were going to sell a good which is worth, so the yellow goods are normally big goods, are normally worth 8 points, but since there are 2 customers for it, so its worth is going to increase. So how much it worth is going to be? It will be 8 multiplied by 2. So ideally players are trying to push that a meeple of certain colors are in a group and they go on one pair because they have produced that good. They want a lot of customers asking for their product, and that increases the market price, whereas the cost of red good is going to be just the base value, which is multiplied by 1, as well as blue goods, but the yellow good is going to cost much more. The middle pair is very important because the customers of 2 boats are going to go here. So even though you are selling small goods, but if a lot of meeples of the same color can be collected here, then a lot more price can be increased if the boats can line up. The other thing that's going to happen is once these pairs are full, then whatever meeples are left on the board, they are going to join the guild. They never got to go on adventures. Instead, they came and joined the guild here in the town. What that's going to do is, one of the things that I did not show you in the player boards is that you can gain sponsorship of different guilds. So if you have sponsorship of one of the action is to gain sponsorship, and if you have sponsorship in any of the guild, whenever a market selling action is going to come, then you can sell then you are going to actually get paid based on the number of meeples in that guild as well. So if I had a sponsorship of the Bards Guild, Green Guild, then I'm going to get 3 coins just because they are sponsoring me. And this is where on the edge of the board you are going to track the score, and it goes all the way around, and if you ever cross it you're going to get 1 diamond, but the round is going to go on. So the phases of the game are going to be, you're going to be filling the boats, which is the first phase of the game, setup of the game. Then you're going to keep taking turns until your timer keeps going on and on and on until you reach the market phase, and the market token, well, market phase is going to achieve as soon as these boats are come to the pier. Then a market phase is going to start. We will move the market token over here, and we are going to start the market phase. Everyone is going to start selling their products to the same customers, and then you will go to cleanup stage, in which you will be, whatever customers had come here, you will be putting them back in the meeple bag. You will be removing all of these. Whatever you have sold will be going back to each player's boxes, and you will be restarting all of that. And that's the cleanup phase. The boats will go back, and you will start with the next round. Normally the game is for 3 rounds, and that's what you're going to play. These worker cards I had shown you before as well. So this is where officially these cards are going to be placed, and there is going to be cost written on the main board, that if you want to hire one of these crew members, what is the cost that you're going to play. One of the cleanup action is going to be that if nobody took this last card, it's going to be removed from the game. Every card is shifted ahead and a new card is opened up. Now at the end of the game, these are the corruption cards that everyone is going to get, which are going to either contain 2 of these different symbols, or majority of the cards are going to have one of these skull symbols. You're going to add up all your skull symbols and multiply them at the end of the game with the number of rogues that are in the game, and that's going to contribute to the negative score, because these are roguely adventurers which you don't want in your party. So these count as, if you're supporting them, these count as negative points in the end of the game. And that's how you play Merchant's Cove. So that was Merchant's Cove. Again, a long discussion, a long teach of this, but it was essential so that I could at least explain that what the game is about. Now, Merchant's Cove did receive mixed opinions, and I am going to have mixed opinions about it as well. But if I had to lean on one side, then I am going to say that it's not as fancy as I expected the game to be. The mini games are just fine. They are not very intuitive. They are not very exciting once you play anything. So for example, when you play a game, you feel some excitement. The excitement isn't just there in the mini game. The concept looks so radical, but in execution it just doesn't work that well, because the mini games are just okay. Plus, the biggest issue that I have with the game is this time clock, because as I had mentioned even at that time during the review, during the close-up, that it takes a lot of time for the turns to come back. It's kind of a snake draft, snake turns, in which the first player who took the turn has to go last, because the last player is taking multiple turns before the first player. Oh, it's so exhausting. It would have been better if every player just had some action cubes and everyone went in turns and spent those action cubes. Okay, it's now your turn. For this section I'm spending 2 cubes. For this section I'm spending 1 cube. So they will be looking at their number of cubes, how many cubes I have left, and once their cubes are left, then they know that okay, now I cannot take any turn. But at least during all the remaining game, they are taking in, at least be involved and taking turns after everyone, and not just waiting for 10 minutes waiting for someone else to take their turns. So that would have made the game better. The second problem I have with the game, even though the game is beautiful, it's a table hog. Everything is so huge. This whole board could have been cut short a lot. But just consider that on a coffee table, only this board can come in. You cannot place your player boards. So once the player boards are there, especially for even on if you have a small dining table, then you cannot set up for 4 players on that table. You might have to set up another table, pull another smaller table next to it to place some additional items, to place the additional goods. considering how much additional tokens that they generated, that every player is going to have their own specialized tokens for the goods, where they could have just gone, okay, that's space consumption as well, because if there were just cubes of different colors or even tracks, okay, I have 3 goods now or 4 goods now, it would have just cut down all that extra tokens. But they went to the effort of, again, it's appreciative as well, that they designed every token of every character unique to their profession. So if a blacksmith is producing good, it's not just a cube, it's made like a sword, it's made like a staff, it's an armor, it's a helmet, it's a greaves, glove. But the alchemists are different kind of bottles that are going to be there. So yes, it looks beautiful, and all of them are on standees. So I haven't seen so much standees used for just useless tokens, for resource tokens, not useless but resource tokens. But the game production is just outclassed. These boats look beautiful, 3D boats, and the meeple fits inside. Oh, satisfying, so satisfying. So these boats, I would still keep these boats, but other things they should have cut down. Dimiko's art, beautiful. I love his artwork in Garfield games. What he does, the artwork, especially of his character art, is always the most beautiful. So no problem here as well. The character art is beautiful as well. You get 4 miniatures, well 5 essentially, for your player characters, plus the ship miniatures. They look beautiful as well. So from a production point of view, it's outclassed, sometimes unnecessary, but beautiful as well. Even the meeples are screen printed, could have been without, but I do prefer that they are screen printed. At least they are not making consuming more space, so that's why I'm happy. Yes, go ahead, print them, make them look like a wizard, make them look like a bard or nobleman, so that's fine. So overall, from production point of view, I'm happy, not excellent, because they did waste few things, which is making the game cumbersome to be played. But gameplay wise, as I said, it's an okay game. The execution just doesn't work. The gameplay isn't exciting enough. You don't put it out and think, okay, if I had done that, that would have been more efficient. There is no afterthought like that, because the gameplay is so simple. Okay, next time it will come, I'll be doing nearly the kind of same thing, because the only thing that's going to be different is well, where the meeples are going to be sitting. So I'll try to match whatever meeples are coming up in the market, but the actions that I'm going to do on my board aren't exciting, don't have that kind of variety that you have to go into strategic thinking. Plus the teach is going to take time. If you have new players coming in, to teach each one, you are not just teaching them just one game, you are spending time, even though you're teaching that person one game, but you are teaching everyone a separate game, plus the main game itself, where it all links. Does it, the mini game, link to the main board? Yes, it does link, because you are looking at what characters are coming and how do I manipulate them. Few of the characters that come in the game, merchants that come in the game, I have issues with them. Just like, for example, the pirate one, its movements are slow, but the traders, the big items, so if other characters have a control that how they are going to, so like the alchemist or the blacksmith have complete control. Okay, do I want to produce large goods or do I want to produce small goods, and of which color? They have control over it. But when it comes to the pirate, well, if you flip treasure chest and they are red and yellow, well, I wanted blue and green. Well, too bad for you. Unless you pick them up, you cannot do. And it might be a whole day, one round before you pick those items up. And maybe next time they will get shuffled up and you still don't get blue and red. So you might be missing out those chances on selling them, because the meeples, you might save those items. You might decide you don't want to sell them in this round, but maybe in the next round you don't get that many meeples of that color on that pier. So some of the characters seems kind of unbalanced, The Chronomancer seems kind of very easy. You just have to go to a spot and you get a good. For others, you have to do 2 3 things before you get a good. But with Chronomancer, you just go to a space and you get a good without any prior steps that you have to do. So some characters do feel like I'm sure they went through a lot of balance and checks. I haven't played that many games of this one to check out that are they really balanced or not. But the truth is, I'm not even that excited to go back and check that out. That tells something about the game. And but if you still feel like this is something that excites you, then go ahead. At least I hope that this review gave you an opinion of what I feel about Merchant's Cove. That's it from me. Happy gaming.